Okay. So again, so d4, knight f6. Oh, d4, knight f6. Okay, so actually played knight f3 on move 2, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so he played c4, so it transposes. So we played the bogo,
Check.
bishop d2, queen e7, g3. So this is all what you saw already. So I'm gonna
Check.
kind of skip through this. Castle d6, e4, e4, e5, d5, knight b8. So this is all theory. Okay, so he did play b4. So remember in the 2 games we saw, he played knight e1 with knight d3, but he played b4 in the game. I was ready for it though. So a5, a3, knight a6, and rook b1. So he can't really take this pawn, because if he does, I get a permanent home on my knight for my knight on c5, and this pawn is a goner anyway. So there's no really reason for him to take. It just ruins his pawn structure. Okay, so rook b1. Okay, so now the question is what to do here. What to do? Because white has more space, definitely. He's kind of threatening to grab queenside space, and I'm kind of a long way from generating my own play. So the question is what to do. Any ideas from chat? What I should do here? Yeah, so something I can do is try to play a move like c6 and break up this pawn structure. But to do that, I kind of want to connect my rooks first. So yeah, I play bishop d7, queen c2, then I played c6. Okay, so he took. I took with the pawn, obviously. I need to keep this square under control. And also, if I take with the bishop, I just lose a piece to b5. So that's also a good reason why I didn't take with the bishop. So I took with the pawn. And now he plays knight e1. So now what? Now what? What should black do here? So the problem is that he actually kind of has like 2 ideas here. One is to play b5 and create a passed pawn. That's dangerous. And the other is to play c5. And the idea of c5 is that he wants to lock this pawn on c6, open the b file, and then maybe bring a knight from c4 to d6. So I have to be careful about that. So if you ask yourself, you know, this knight's coming to d3 anyway, so a move like rook fb8, he can just play knight d3. And then, you know, knight d3 is a move he wants to make anyway to help support this pawn and also to help support c5, potentially. I'm not entirely sure my rook wants to be on b8. So after 91, I came up with this idea that, okay, well, the knight, by moving to e1, is losing control over this square. Okay, so how can I get something to this square? Someone in chat know? How do I get a piece to that square? Yeah. So I want a knight there, obviously. So yeah, my idea was just to go like this. Because again, I can't really resolve the tension on the queen side unless he wants it to be resolved. So he can kind of take time and play, like, you know, knight d3, rook fc1, move his queen to some better square so it's not on the c file, maybe even like queen d3, and at the right time he can play c5 and then like get his knight to c4, and so, you know, if I kind of just do nothing and wait for him, he can build up very slowly. So I kind of wanted to meet him at the pass. Yeah, exactly. Horsey hops. Horsey hops. So always be on the lookout for horsey hops, particularly since I knew this knight was coming here. You know, if I thought for some reason his knight wanted to come here and then here for some reason, then okay, maybe I would be more reluctant to do this because, you know, his knight on c2 would be fulfilling the same defensive function. But since I know his knight probably wants to come to d3, then I felt like this made more sense. Okay, so anyway, he played knight e1, I played knight c7. He played knight d3, I played knight e6. Okay, so just continuing the trend. Okay, so here he could probably actually play c5 even, with the idea that after take, the point is he actually plays this move, knight f3. It's super complicated, but the point is like his knight's coming here and here potentially, and this pawn is defended enough. So it's kind of complex, but like he basically sort of wants to trade like these 4 pawns for these 3 pawns, kind of. And then just have some more activity with his bishop. And yeah, I mean, rook f8 is perfectly reasonable. I mean, I'm just trying to kind of show you what I was thinking. So, okay, so what should I play here after knight e6? Or sorry, after knight... Okay, so he played knight to b3, by the way. Knight to b3. So, obviously he's threatening something. He's threatening my pawn. So how should I remove the threat to it? So I could take, but if I take, you know, opening this a file doesn't really help me, and now these pawns are dangerous. Like he can quickly start to maybe play b5. You know, he can trade all the rooks on the a file, and then eventually, at the right moment, he can create a passive. So not right away, but he'll trade everything on the a file, penetrate his queen on my queen side. I can't really generate much counterplay because he's not even worried about a knight on d4 at this point. And at the right moment, he'll just create an outside pass pawn, and then he'll be in good shape. So AB is definitely not what I want to play. I have to suffer here for a long time. So the only other choice is to play a4, which is what I play. Because now I kick this knight, and I get this square for my knight. And so he plays knight bc1, trying to maybe come here and here, or here and here. So I play knight d4, gaining a tempo, queen d1. And now I play bishop to g4. The point is, his queen's actually running a bit short on squares. He doesn't really want to play queen d2, I don't think, or queen e1. So he kind of has to play f3. So he plays f3. And now I sat there for a few minutes thinking about a crazy continuation. Right. So this is a continuation I was thinking about. So I was thinking about this. Right, with the idea that if take, knight c3, queen d2, knight b1, queen a2, and then I was planning on going knight takes a3, queen takes a3, knight c2, queen somewhere, knight e3, queen somewhere, or sorry, not queen somewhere, rook somewhere, or actually you can't go rook there because of knight d1, so he has to go rook e1, I guess. And then I was planning on going take, and something like a3 is what I was looking at. But if I look a little deeper, I realize that actually, if I take here, he's not actually required to take. He can just play this move. And the problem is all my pieces are hanging. And I don't really have a good way to avoid it. He can actually even play this move. Knight a2. And again, I can't even get my pieces out. Because now he's simply threatening to take here. If I move my bishop, he can take here. So all of a sudden, all my pieces just kind of by the wayside. But I spent some time thinking about this, and then thinking, okay, if he takes, can I make it work? And I thought I could kind of sort of make it work. But then I realized, okay, he doesn't actually even have to take. So I quickly scrapped that. And realized, okay, I have to move my bishop back. So if I'm going to move my bishop back, I might as well do it with tempo. So I move it back to e6, attack this guy. So he has to defend that pawn, only one way to do it. He has to play knight to b2. Okay, now I should probably play this move. Probably play d5. Maybe even rook d8 first. But now that his pieces are kind of on the back ranks and my pieces are active, now's the time to kind of break it open. But yeah, I was still trying to be clever. So I did play queen a7. Which actually doesn't spoil much. Actually, queen a7 doesn't spoil much. Because it forces king h1 anyway. Sort of. Because I'm threatening like some sort of double check. Or single check, depending. And he really doesn't have a good response to it other than king h1. So I did play queen a7. And so he played king h1, which is kind of forced. And now, again, maybe d5 is fine. I have another idea to maybe play c5. And just try to either get a passed pawn for myself, or if he pushes through, then my queen can kind of infiltrate. And this pawn is weak on c4. So I have that possibility. Queen a7, f takes g4, huh? There's nothing on g4, buddy. So yeah, I am better here. I am better. Okay, but I played queen a6. I'm just trying to attack this guy. Okay, he plays queen d3. And now I can maybe try d5 here again. Maybe try d5 here again. Also, I could try c5 again. c5 just to really support this knight. Make it a monster. And then if he plays b5, I can just play like queen a5 again. And it's kind of tough for him to get his pieces out, because, okay, even if he plays knight e2, I mean, I don't mind capturing this way, right? I'll just play like rook c8, and then capture, and then this guy's weak, and my knight's coming to c5. This is monstrous. This is really monstrous. So c5 would have probably been a good choice. But I was kind of fixated on this pawn. And I also wanted to relocate this guy. Because I realized that my knight on f6 is actually not doing anything. It's kind of just stuck. So I play knight d7 with the idea of knight to b6, attacking this guy again. So he plays knight e2. I take. Could also play queen a7. And then take the idea as I play c5 here next. So if he plays like rook d1 or something, I play, oops. If he plays rook d1, I can play c5. And then again, if he plays a move like b5, I just have this, you know, humongous blockade. And his pawns are on the wrong squares. So I play knight d7, although it might not be the most accurate. Okay, so he played knight e2, I took, he took. Yeah. Well, that's the problem. I probably should still be going for d5. But I was worried these pawns would get too strong. So, okay, I played knight b6, which is logical. Okay, so I'm hitting this pawn 3 times now. So he has to defend it. So he plays rook fc1. Okay. So now I should probably again try to play this move. The problem is, though, after c5, b5, the problem is I can't get a knight here anymore. Because notice that this square is covered and this square is covered. So how does my horsey hop get to there? These are the only 2 squares. I guess I could get it from here, too. But I'd have to go like knight d7, rook e8, knight f8, bishop I don't even know where. Okay, so I have to go bishop c8 first, then rook e8, then knight d7, then knight f8, then knight e6, then knight d4. So it takes me like a million years to get to d4. Right. What I should try probably instead of what I did is rook d8, right. But then I can't really play c5 though. Or I can't really play d5 because he can like go take c5. And this is probably annoying. These pawns are kind of strong all of a sudden. Okay, but what I played is I played f5. But here now he has the opportunity to play like a move like b5, and then after take. The problem is this rook is really active all of a sudden. And this pawn is in danger of falling. But he missed his chance to play b5 because he played bishop h3 instead, pinning my bishop. So now I can't take, obviously, because he can take the bishop. So I have to play rook e8, pretty much forced. I can't play rook fe8 because this pawn hangs. Yeah, so f5 was probably a bad reaction, but actually I'm actually fine after what he played. He should probably play queen d3 with the idea of taking this. So fe4, bishop e6, rook e6, fe4. And the idea is to try to take this maybe. Well, the idea is for him to play c5 actually. The idea is for him to play c5 and then double attack the queen and the pawn. So I go something like, I don't know, h6. He goes c5. I go take. He goes take, and now my knight's hanging, so I gotta move it. I don't know, knight here, I guess. This is probably a bad endgame for me, I'm guessing. This pawn is weak. Although, wait, I can go rook d2 here. So hold on. Maybe I can rush this a bit. Okay, so take. So yeah, knight d7. Okay, maybe he just sits. Maybe he just sits, actually. He just goes like rook f1. And the problem is this pawn is probably following. The problem is this pawn's probably following. Okay, so... okay, but instead of all that, instead of queen d3, he kind of gave me a chance, because he wanted to defend his queen so he could play c5. He's still trying to play c5, so he plays rook c2. Okay, but now I take on e4. He takes...
Check.
Take on e6. Take on e4. Okay, now what? Now what? Now what should I do? So I have this open f file for my rook, which is good. He has this weak pawn on e4. Both our knights, both our knights aren't great though. His knight is kind of sitting there doing nothing. My knight is also kind of sitting there doing nothing. Both of our queens are also kind of awkward. I mean, his queen is centralized, but my queen is perhaps a little bit more aggressive. So I was kind of worried about c5 here. So say I play a move like rook f6. I was kind of worried about c5 here. So c5, I have to take the queen. Because my queen's attacked and my knight's attacked, so it's a double threat. So queen takes, rook takes. And I was kind of worried about this because, again, I felt like he kind of has this under control. He just wants to play like king g2 next. And I thought this pawn was falling, perhaps. And I didn't like the fact that I had all these weak pawns. But to be fair, he's going to have a bunch of weak pawns too, because like this is weak. If I take, this is going to be weak, and this is weak. So in all likelihood, it's probably drawish, but I thought like he had some initiative here. So I was worried about that. Yeah, and I can't really play knight d7. Whoops. Knight d7, because now the problem is he can play b5, I think. The problem is he can play b5. And now my queen is actually overworked in a sense because it's defending this and defending this. So yeah, I mean, I guess I could play queen a8 maybe. And then he plays a move like rook d2, and he just like tries to double on this guy. Whoops. Bad arrows, but he's trying to double on this guy. So I'm not so sure that's clear. So I kind of took an alternate solution to that, and I played queen to b7. So my point was that on c5, on take, I thought I could play... Well, I was intending on playing knight to d7, with the point that his knight is pinned now because of my queen. And on queen c4, which looks kind of devastating at first glance, because it looks like it pins this, and like it looks like I'm just losing everything. I was actually planning on playing queen b3. And I thought that after queen takes, pawn takes, rook c3, I have like rook f2. And all of a sudden it's really tough for him to untangle. Because if he takes this guy, all of a sudden my knight's getting super active. And if he doesn't take that guy, my rook is just going to kind of maraud. So I play like rook d2, for example. And now if he goes like rook takes b3, I can play rook f6, and I'm actually threatening mate. So all of a sudden it gets really tricky for him to defend this. So I thought I actually had good practical chances here if he went for something like this. And then the idea is I want to bring my knight around like this way. But he actually took with the rook. Which was correct, by the way. Which was correct. So now it's actually just kind of equal, believe it or not. It's actually kind of equal. So I double my rooks, rook f6. So I don't mind giving up this pawn, of course, because my rooks are coming in. He plays knight d3. Okay, now what should I play here? This is an important move to kind of keep the balance. So it looks like he's kind of going after my pawn on e5. But it's kind of a goner anyway. So it's really important to get my pieces active at this point. And my only piece that needs, help is this guy. This queen is now not properly placed. So I actually could play queen d7. Queen d7. The idea being if knight takes e5, queen h3. And all of a sudden, he's getting mated, I think. He has to play king g1, and then I go rook f2, take. And I believe this is good for me, because I think I can win this pawn, maybe. So, queen d7. So also my queen is like getting d4 now. It's just getting super active. So he should probably play rook g1 here, believe it or not. And then after queen d4, play rook d1. And this transposes into the game, sort of. But he played king g2. I played queen d4. Okay, so now it's just equal. Now it's just equal. All my pieces are suddenly super active. I kind of want to get my knight into e3. I also am kind of threatening rook f3. So he has to defend these threats by playing a move like rook e1. And then basically what happened in the game, but he'd be up a tempo. But he instead played rook d1 and just missed something completely obvious. So what should I play here? Black to move and win. Black to move and win. So yeah, now knight c4 is infinitely stronger, because now I'm threatening knight e3, which is a fork. And so what he thought during the game is he thought queen a2. He thought queen a2 pinning the knight. And he thought it's fine, but okay, how do I win here? How do I win after queen a2? Yeah, well now this guy's hanging with check. So queen takes e4, and now he's just dead. If king h3, this is mate.
Checkmate.
He can't go to f1, he can't go to h1. Oh, king g1's only move. King g1's only move. And now how do I win? And now how do I win? Well, I can start with queen e3 check.
Check.
And then if king g2, queen f3 check, king g1, queen takes d1 check,
Check.
king g2, and queen f1 is mate.
Checkmate.
So I have that cute little mate. Again, if king here, rook here is mate.
Checkmate.
So I have this little staircase pattern. It go here, 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 and here, and it's mate. So mate is good. So he's actually dead here. He's actually dead here. It's completely winning. So he has to play rook e1. So the problem is he's down a full tempo. So now, dear viewer, black to move and win. Black to move and win. ChessTempo.com, guys. Black to move and win. Because I didn't find the move here. I was actually short on time, by the way. If you notice, it's moved 37. I had like 3 minutes here, so I unfortunately did not find the winning move. Black to move and win. ChessTempo.com. So all you guys for chess tempo stuff. Yeah, I had 2 minutes here. Misha was watching live. But all you ChessTempo.com fiends, where's the winning move? But don't forget, you only have 2 minutes. So it's a blitz move. Yeah, so unfortunately rook f3 is a huge blunder. The winning move, king h8, triple exclam. King h8 just wins instantly. So the whole point is this queen takes c4 is coming with check. So as long as I move my king off of the diagonal, it's an easy win. Because he's in zugzwang here. And now I'm threatening rook f3. So now I'm threatening rook f3. But the problem is, after rook f3, he has queen a2. And now it's just a draw, kind of. Now it's just a draw, kind of. But yeah, king h8, and he can resign, actually. Because he literally has no moves. He can't move this because of knight e3. He can't move this because of rook f2. He can't move this because it's actually trapped. He can't move his queen because I'm threatening queen takes d3, and also queen takes e4 in some lines, depending on where his rook goes afterwards. And I'm also still going to play rook f3 if his queen moves away. I mean, his queen actually has no square that can defend d3 other than c2. Then I can play knight e3 and win all his pieces. So king h8 just gets rid of all my problems. But unfortunately, it's hard to see that when you have 2 minutes left. So rook f3 does look really tempting. But I actually completely forgot that I forgot the queens move sideways. Whoops. I forgot the queens move sideways. So after queen a2, I was like, oh crikey, this is hanging. I mean, of course I can win this, but okay, so now I just have this slightly better ending. So it doesn't really matter which way I take. I took with the rook. Doesn't really matter. He took, check. I took, he took. Okay, so I can try to win this, actually. I can try to win this. So the way to try to win this is to play rook takes here, and rook b3. But I was kind of worried that like he could maybe try to double on the 7th, like rook c7 take and rook here, maybe try to do something like this. So like even if I take here, like I wasn't so sure this is winning for me. Something like this, I was kind of scared just because like my rooks are super passive. I'm up 2 pawns here, but like I didn't really know what to do here. So I kind of played it really safe, which was a little, I don't know, a little pessimistic, I guess. But also I was kind of like just getting over, you know, having made time control, so I was kind of just wanting to make sure I didn't mess up and somehow lose this. So I played a very safe line. I played rook f6. And I'm never, of course, worse, but I don't think I can really win this now after rook c1. I took, he took, I took, he took, played rook b3, played rook c5, I took, he took, I played a3, he played here. I played take, he played take, oops, he played take. And yeah, so a draw here.